Hi guys, welcome to Finesse channel. This time we prepared the top 13 best horror movies available right now on Prime Video, Hulu, AMC Plus, and Tubi. We've gathered not only popular titles but also some hidden gems you might have missed. So whether you love supernatural scares, slashers, or psychological horror, there's something here for every kind of horror fan. We hope you enjoy this collection, so let's not waste any time and jump right into it. Number 13, The Dark and the Wicked. Directed by Brian Bertino, The Dark and the Wicked is a chilling and meditative horror thriller that fuses existential dread with supernatural terror and rural isolation. The film centers on siblings Louise and Michael, who return to their remote family farmhouse as their father lies on his deathbed. But what begins as a quiet reunion soon turns harrowing as a malevolent force begins to torment them, feeding on their grief, guilt, and the spiritual decay within the house. As reality frays, they realize something unspeakably evil has taken root. Marin Ireland delivers a raw, emotionally charged performance that anchors the film in sorrow and fear, while Michael Abbott Jr. adds restrained vulnerability as a man unwilling to face what's unfolding. Their dynamic is subtle, yet potent, creating a believable bond fractured by loss and denial. Fans of psychological horror with minimalist storytelling and emotional weight will find it quietly horrifying and unmistakably Brian Bertino. Number 12, Enys Men. Directed by Mark Jenkin, Enys Men is a hypnotic and experimental folk horror that fuses ecological unease with haunting isolation and eerie surrealism. The film centers on an unnamed woman living alone on a desolate Cornish island in 1973, where she monitors a rare flower's growth near a crumbling mine. As her days unfold in eerie repetition, strange apparitions begin to surface, blurring the line between past and present, nature and the supernatural, sanity and madness. Mary Woodvine leads with a near-wordless performance that is both restrained and deeply haunting. Her portrayal captures the character's gradual mental unraveling, grounding the film in an emotional stillness that echoes the island's haunting quiet. With minimal dialogue and sparse interactions, she becomes the story's haunted heartbeat. Visually grainy and atmospherically dense, Enys Men forgoes conventional horror tropes for something more meditative and spectral. It's a slow-boiling mystery driven by mood and texture, not plot, a sensory descent into loneliness and time's disintegration. Number 11, Insidious, The Red Door. Directed by Patrick Wilson, Insidious. The Red Door is a moody and emotionally driven horror sequel that fuses supernatural dread with family trauma and psychological reflection. The film centers on Josh Lambert and his son Dalton, both struggling with the after-effects of their past encounters with the Further. Now estranged and emotionally disconnected, they're forced to revisit their buried memories when a sinister force reawakens, threatening to drag them back behind the Red Door, where demons and repressed truths lie waiting. Patrick Wilson steps confidently into the dual role of director and star, delivering a grounded and introspective performance that reflects the film's darker, more personal tone. Ty Simpkins brings depth to Dalton's character as he navigates college life while being pulled into a terrifying psychic descent. Together, their dynamic forms the emotional spine of the story. Fans of the Insidious series will find it a quietly eerie and emotionally satisfying final chapter. Unmistakably Patrick Wilson in tone and vision. Number 10, You're Next. Directed by Adam Wingard, You're Next is a sharp and blood-soaked home invasion thriller that fuses slasher horror with pitch-black humor and a subversive twist on genre expectations. The film centers on the Davison family, who gather at their secluded country estate for a tense reunion, only to be attacked by a group of masked killers. But what begins as a standard slasher quickly shifts when one guest, Aaron, reveals a brutal survival instinct that turns the hunters into the hunted in a game of escalating violence and mind games. Sharni Vinson delivers a breakout performance as Erin, transforming from a quiet outsider to a fierce and resourceful final girl. Her grounded intensity and physical prowess give the film its adrenaline-charged edge. The ensemble cast, including Barbara Crampton, A.J. Bowen, and Joe Swanberg, balances horror with uneasy family drama and dark wit. It's a smart, gory thrill ride that rewards horror fans with both tension and surprise, unmistakably Adam Wingard in its style and bite. Number 9. Something in the Dirt. Directed by Justin Benson and Aaron Moorhead, Something in the Dirt is a surreal and cerebral sci-fi thriller that fuses cosmic horror with DIY filmmaking, conspiracy theory, and existential paranoia. The film centers on two neighbors, Levi and John, who witness a bizarre supernatural event in their Los Angeles apartment building. Rather than report it, they decide to document the phenomenon themselves, hoping to unravel its secrets and maybe even profit from it. But as their investigation deepens, reality begins to fracture, and the line between truth, delusion, and obsession blurs beyond recognition. Benson and Moorhead not only co-direct, but also star in the film, delivering compelling performances that capture both awkward camaraderie and growing mistrust. Their chemistry fuels the film's intimate, documentary-style tension, as both characters descend into conflicting interpretations of the unexplained. Fans of slow-burn, idea-driven sci-fi with a conspiratorial edge will find it quietly riveting and unmistakably Benson and Moorhead. Number 8. Sightseers. Directed by Ben Wheatley, Sightseers is a wickedly offbeat black comedy thriller that fuses deadpan humor with sudden violence and biting social satire. The film centers on Chris and Tina, a mismatched British couple who embark on a seemingly innocent caravan holiday through the countryside. But as minor irritations escalate, littering, rude tourists, smug cyclists, their romantic getaway devolves into a murderous road trip. Each stop brings a new victim, and the couple's twisted bond grows stronger through shared bloodshed. Steve Oram and Alice Lowe deliver brilliantly restrained performances as the unhinged lovers, capturing the banality of their relationship even as the body count rises. Their awkward chemistry and dry delivery give the film its uniquely unsettling tone, blurring the line between affection and psychopathy. Fans of jet-black humor and unconventional thrillers will find it hilariously disturbing and unmistakably Ben Wheatley. Number 7. The Possession. Directed by Ole Bornedal, The Possession is a moody and atmospheric supernatural thriller that fuses family drama with ancient folklore and escalating psychological terror. The film centers on Clyde, a recently divorced father whose daughter, Em, becomes obsessed with an old wooden box purchased at a yard sale. Unbeknownst to them, the box is a Dybbuk container, housing a malevolent spirit from Jewish mythology. As Em's behavior grows disturbingly violent, Clyde must face the terrifying truth and seek help beyond conventional means to save his child. Jeffrey Dean Morgan anchors the film with a grounded and emotionally resonant performance, portraying a father caught between skepticism and desperation. Natasha Callas delivers an unnerving turn as Em, capturing the creeping loss of innocence with chilling precision. Supporting roles by Kyra Sedgwick and Matisyahu deepen the film's emotional and cultural resonance. Visually stark and thematically driven, The Possession doesn't rely on gore or relentless jump scares. Instead, it's a slow-boiling horror built on dread, myth, and fractured family dynamics. Number 6. Howl. Directed by Paul Hyatt, Howl is a gritty and creature-packed horror thriller that fuses claustrophobic suspense with classic monster movie thrills and a uniquely British sensibility. The film centers on Joe, a disillusioned train guard stuck on a late-night service through the English countryside. When the train suddenly breaks down in a remote forest, the passengers find themselves hunted by a pack of vicious, werewolf-like creatures. With no escape and tensions rising, Survival depends on their ability to work together, or tear each other apart. Ed Spaliers leads the ensemble cast with a grounded performance as the reluctant hero, evolving from passive employee to unlikely protector. He's joined by a solid group of characters played by Holly Weston, Shauna McDonald, and Elliot Cowan, each bringing a mix of tension, panic, and dark humor to the confined setting. Fans of survival horror and old-school monster movies will find it a thrilling, fast-paced ride, unmistakably Paul Hyatt in its mix of grime, grit, and growling terror. Number 5. Die Alone. Directed by Lowell Dean, Die Alone is a moody and offbeat post-apocalyptic sci-fi thriller that fuses emotional depth with eerie survival horror and a haunting meditation on memory and identity. The film centers on Ethan, a man suffering from recurring amnesia, in a world devastated by an infection that transforms humans into grotesque, moss-covered hybrids. Wandering through a ruined wilderness and haunted by flashes of a lost love, Ethan meets May, a hardened survivalist whose guarded nature hides deeper scars. Together they navigate not only physical threats but the unraveling of reality itself, as Ethan's memory begins to reveal a terrifying truth. Douglas Smith anchors the film with a subtle, emotionally raw performance, portraying Ethan as both confused and quietly determined. Carrie-Anne Moss brings depth and edge to May, adding gravity to their fragile bond. Their performances are complemented by a small but effective cast, including a tense appearance by Frank Grillo that spikes the film's intensity. Visually striking and narratively ambitious, Die Alone trades high-octane spectacle for atmosphere, mystery, and dread. It's a slow-burning thriller that asks what makes us who we are, our memories, our choices, or our capacity for love in the face of extinction. Number 4. The Boogeyman. Directed by Rob Savage, The Boogeyman is a shadowy and emotionally charged supernatural horror film that fuses childhood trauma with atmospheric dread and psychological tension. The film centers on sisters Sadie and Sawyer, who are reeling from the recent death of their mother. Their father, a grief-stricken therapist, is barely holding the family together when a desperate patient introduces a sinister entity into their home. This creature, the Boogeyman, feeds on fear, hiding in the dark and preying on their emotional vulnerabilities as it tightens its grip on the fractured family. Sophie Thatcher delivers a strong, grounded performance as Sadie, capturing the pain and strength of a teenager forced to grow up too fast. Vivian Lyra Blair brings innocence and fear to Sawyer, while Chris Messina adds emotional weight as their distant but caring father. Their chemistry brings authenticity to a story rooted in grief as much as it is in horror. It's a classic monster in the dark story reimagined with modern emotional stakes, unmistakably Rob Savage in its blend of intimate family drama and chilling suspense. Number 3. The Haunting in Connecticut. Directed by Peter Cornwell, The Haunting in Connecticut is a somber and atmospheric supernatural thriller that fuses real-life tragedy with chilling ghost story conventions and emotional family drama. The film centers on the Campbell family, who relocate to an old Connecticut home to be closer to the hospital treating their teenage son, Matt's cancer. But as Matt's condition worsens, he begins to experience disturbing visions, revealing that the house was once a funeral parlor with a dark, occult history. As supernatural events escalate, the family must confront the horrifying truth buried within the walls of their new home. Kyle Gallner delivers a deeply vulnerable performance as Matt, capturing the fear and confusion of a young man caught between illness and an increasingly unexplainable haunting. Virginia Madsen brings emotional gravity as his mother, balancing skepticism with maternal instinct, while Elias Koteas lends quiet intensity as a priest who may hold the key to the house's dark past. It's a slow-boiling horror tale grounded in pain, memory, and redemption, unmistakably Peter Cornwell in its restrained yet emotionally resonant style. Number 2. Let the Right One In. directed by Tomas Alfredson, Let the Right One In is a tender and quietly brutal vampire thriller that fuses coming-of-age loneliness with haunting horror and minimalist Scandinavian storytelling. The film centers on Oscar, a sensitive and isolated boy living in a cold, concrete suburb of 1980s Stockholm. His life takes a strange turn when he befriends Eli, a cryptic young girl who only appears at night and seems curiously unaffected by the freezing weather. As their bond deepens, Oscar slowly discovers that Eli is not a girl at all, but an ancient vampire, bound by survival and burdened by eternity. Cora Hedebrandt gives a fragile, heartbreaking performance as Oscar, capturing the ache of a child yearning for connection in a world that seems indifferent. Lena Lee Anderson is mesmerizingly otherworldly as Eli, bringing a chilling calm and subtle menace to the role. Together, they create an unsettling and poignant portrait of love on the edges of innocence and monstrosity. Visually spare and thematically layered, Let the Right One In avoids horror tropes in favor of emotional nuance, slow tension, and existential undertones. It's a chilling, melancholic tale that thrives on silence and shadow, unmistakably Tomas Alfredson in its balance of eerie restraint and aching humanity. Number 1. Evil Dead 2. Directed by Sam Raimi, Evil Dead 2 is a deliriously inventive horror comedy hybrid that fuses splatter-filled carnage with Looney Tunes absurdity and surreal visual flair. The film centers on Ash Williams, a hapless everyman who finds himself trapped in a remote cabin after accidentally unleashing a horde of Kandarian demons. As the evil force consumes his girlfriend and warps reality around him, Ash is pushed to the brink, battling possessed bodies, his own severed hand, and the growing madness within. Bruce Campbell anchors the film with a tour de force performance that oscillates between slapstick buffoonery and horror hero grit. His rubber-faced expressions, unhinged energy, and fearless physical comedy turn Ash into a cult icon, and Raimi's camera follows with manic enthusiasm, never staying still for long. Visually frenzied and tonally chaotic, Evil Dead 2 doesn't just embrace genre tropes, it explodes them with blood, guts, and laughter. It's a cinematic fever dream that defies categorization, thrilling fans of horror and humor alike, gleefully gory and unmistakably Sam Raimi.